What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dante back again with another video. I really appreciate everyone that's been supporting the channel. I'm going to continue to try to stay consistent with the content, and hopefully y'all, can stick with me and watch me elevate and grow, and we can all grow together as a family. I appreciate y'all. But today's video is basically about LSU star Kyren Lacy, who we all know unfortunately took his life earlier this year, back in April. And this video is just basically going to break down the incident that he was involved in late last year, allegedly. And I say allegedly because I'm also going to be providing evidence that the lawyer has presented, the family's attorney, that proves his innocence in that incident. And then also we're going to get into what role the state police may have had in coercing witnesses into basically saying that Mr. Lacy was involved in that incident. But let's get to the incident first. So back in December of last year, there was a report of an accident, and the report states that Kyren Lacy crossed a center line in an attempt to pass slower vehicles, which caused a pickup truck driver to brake and swerve to avoid Lacy's car. Another vehicle then allegedly swerved to avoid the pickup and crossed the center line, crashing head on with a vehicle containing Herman Hall, who was a U.S. Army veteran, right? Now, today's video, it has just been brought to everyone's attention that the attorney for Mr. Lacy had his own private investigation and was able to obtain video that basically proves that Kyren Lacy arrived at the accident seconds after it had already occurred. So he basically wasn't the one who caused the accident. And this first video that I'm going to show you is basically the attorney breaking down how the accident occurred prior to Kyren Lacy arriving on the scene rather. And then he's going to detail some other things. But before I get to that, let me give you a quick breakdown of Kyren Lacy, just so we can kind of bring you guys up to speed as to who he was as a person, right? So Kyren Lacy was born in Thibodaux, Louisiana. He went to Thibodaux High School, where he was a star athlete. He excelled in both basketball and football. He was a highly recruited athlete. Ultimately, he ended up going to Louisiana State Lafayette University, and then he transferred to Louisiana State University, where he really excelled. He really shined. He was projected to be a top NFL draft pick in the draft of April earlier this year. And December 19th is when he ultimately declared for the NFL draft. Now, the interesting thing about that is 2 days prior to that is when the accident occurred that he was allegedly involved in. So let's get into the video of the family attorney basically showing you guys how Kyren Lacy may have been present at the time of the accident, but he was not the primary cause of the accident. Check it out.
Yeah, so what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did in fact pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacy getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter.
So in that video, you just saw the attorney was basically explaining in an interview with HTV how he requested an internal investigation into the state police's story of the incident. Now, this next video I'm going to show you is the state police officer who is going out to one of the witnesses' house, and you can hear some sort of persuasion tactics being used to get the witness to state that Kyron Lacy was basically the cause of the accident. Check it out.
All right, sir. So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, your address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, me and my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what's happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? Right. And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what's happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the Gold Truck.
This is the Gold Truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is Gold Truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast. We know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused? I got a problem. I got a problem with that. A big one.
So Kyron Lacy basically didn't do anything wrong. This young man was just preparing for the NFL draft. After the incident, though, he had his name dragged through the mud by numerous media outlets. I think Jack Mack had put up or reposted a tweet and used a visual that Kyron Lacy may have made on the football field to insinuate that this guy was potentially violent and could have potentially caused the accident. But now numerous people are retracting their statements and they're making public apologies, but it's too late, man. It's like, according to the family, he had like a mental breakdown right before the grand jury hearing where he had a weapon and they held onto his keys because they didn't want him to go do anything crazy. The story goes that he fired off a round to let them know, like, give me my keys, I want to leave, or I'm going to do this right here in front of y'all. And they ultimately gave him the keys. He got into the high-speed chase, and then that's when he ultimately ended up taking his life. But it's like, this man could have still been here on this earth. He could have been playing in the NFL right now had this officer allegedly may not have coerced a witness to basically say that Kyron Lacy was the cause of that accident. You know what I mean? So it's a very, very unfortunate story. Now everyone is kind of like showing video and posting who the actual person was that initially was on the scene, that kind of lied and made up. It's very messy. It's very ugly. I'm pretty sure you can find videos. You can find pictures of the person that initially said that Kyron Lacy was the cause of the accident. So I'm just, my condolences to the Lacy family, man. I wish this young man was here to see, all the hard work that he put in to get to the NFL and for it to be taken away from him in this manner. Very unfortunate, man. But y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, man. Do y'all think that this state police officer needs to be brought to the front of the congregation as well, and maybe some charges may need to be brought against him and whoever may have been involved in this guy being framed essentially for this accident that he didn't even cause? You know what I mean? Make sure y'all continue to subscribe, share the videos, man, and I'll check y'all out on the next video, man.